We should be all good now. Okay. Let's get back to actually playing with actual audio now. So, I am really sorry for the audio mishap that apparently was only noticed an hour into the stream because I was not told by anyone until an hour in that it actually was not working properly. But we're all good now. We're all good. And we're gonna keep playing now. So, yeah. Fun. Love it. Begin the game.
This is the story of a man named Stan.
That is so loud. Hello? Settings? What? Okay. That should be fine. We should be fine. Begin a new game, please. While my ears don't hurt. It'd be preferable. What?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Maybe, but I don't think the memo would have been this big. Seriously, the whole office is kind of gone. I doubt the memo's this big. But sure, whatever. How do I get out? Okay, this way.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I'll actually listen.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I'm going down. Thank you very much.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Are you sure it's left?
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Are you sure?
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Yeah.
Now, let's see. We went down right,
David,
left, down,
Thank you so
left,
much for coming back.
right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay, let's go this way then. Downstairs, and
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, come on. There we go. If only you could turn them all on, now that would be a really big fun troll. Up and continuing. Okay. Continuing on, down we go.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
Sure
Everything
you
should be... Well, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I
No.
asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Yep,
It
you
was
sure
right
did.
here just a minute ago.
Yep.
I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay,
Are you
then.
sure? Are you
It's an
really
adventure.
sure?
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh. Keeping this one's open, but it can't go that way. Wait, if I go this way, will it connect? It will. That works. Let's continue going this way then. Down the creepy hallway. Am I just back where I was at? Oh my god. I'm back where I was at.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you
Okay.
there definitely was a story here before.
Are you sure?
Do we need to restart the game again?
We might
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay. I guess. Sure. Cool beans. Now we continue.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Here. Let's continue the meeting room again. Like we always do. Every single time. Oh, hey, that door's open now. So is that one. Nice. Continuing on. Oh, there's no
Okay, yep, it's worse.
anymore.
I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Okay, but like, seriously, what the freak? There's not even doors. Looks like I missed a computer.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
What did we
The
miss?
story. Here it comes.
I don't think this is the right way.
No, wait, never mind. Not the
right.
story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Okay, let's see what we get. I don't think this is right.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you remember, Stanley?
Yep.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
So what?
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Fine. Whatever, hurry up.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Perable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
I guess that's simple enough. I can follow a line. I'm going to definitely start following it as soon as I see computers that I can mess with. Because I like messing with them. Oh, we're going a different way. Oh, new computer. Oh, come on, let me mess with it. Let me mess with the laptop. Come on, man.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
I don't know
You
where
know
the
what?
line is going.
I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Seriously, what the heck?
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
What?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make
How?
sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Are you sure I should look at this fern that carefully? I mean, it's kind of just a fern, isn't it? I mean, seriously, how important is a fern in a video game? I mean, don't get me wrong. In IRL, I absolutely love them. Maybe because I have some of my own.
Wait, what? We're back at the office?
Yeah, back in the office.
No,
We've been in the office this
Line.
whole
You do
time.
know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
I guess I gotta follow the lane. This one? Well, this is the way we'll
Oh,
stay.
no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Okay, sure. Just, oh, I can't take this anymore. Restart.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the
narrator's
adventure
so
line. What's it
salty.
ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why
Yeah.
can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious.
Let's
Oh,
do
this
it.
all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ooh, new direction. Nice. Let's
Now,
do it.
yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild.
How
Use
about
your
the story of
imagination.
lovers?
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Let's continue on.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
I am acknowledging it though. Because it's big, it's bright, it's yellow, and it looks awesome. It's fun.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Sure. Oh, they're both in the same
Hold up,
place.
what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
What?
That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted
Stanley said,
me? Why
I
don't I
died?
get to decide?
I
Why
don't
don't
want to die.
I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the
Neither do
game to
I.
keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The,
I don't know.
whatever it is that made this
Did
schedule?
we?
How would we even know?
I
Will someone
have
come for us?
no clue.
Will something happen?
Um,
So,
I honestly don't know.
okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Sure. I guess. Okay. Sure. Cool.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, please.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yep, same as always. Yes. If we get lucky, we might just get a new...
Stanley, pick up the bucket.
But what if I don't want to pick up the bucket? Like, what about what I want? Okay? Like, seriously, what if I want to not pick up the bucket? Like, do I have to? Fine.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
But you know what I mean? I'm not even gonna listen to you. I'm getting on the broom closet this time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
I know
But
it's not
Stanley
correct,
had felt
but
the
you're
bucket
making me
calling
mad.
to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to
You're making me
be.
mad.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Yeah, sure.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Where's the broom closet? It's gotta be around here somewhere. I forgot where the broom closet was. Oh no.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Blah. Blah, 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 blah. All you do is talk, 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 talk.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion.
Perfect.
Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Okay.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
But, like, what if you put the bucket sticker on, like, a non-bucket?
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Sure. So, are you gonna come back, or do I actually have to go outside? I guess. And then we go right back in. Oh, okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I think I'm good. I'm gonna go downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket. Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley. Find me. He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Oh no.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Huh. How do you backflip all the way to work? I hear a phone. Can I answer the phone? Let me answer. Is that the right one? I'm looking, but no answer.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
What?
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Okay. I guess. Weird, but sure. Whatever you say. Very strange. I will interact with you.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
I know, right? The bucket is so smart. It is so amazing.
Truly, being here with... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Shall we continue?
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to...
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Wow. That is so beautiful. Wow. Just wow.
All of his co-workers were... Wait,
Boxes?
no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
What? What's all the boxes? What the heck? That is so weird. I mean, okay, but like, weird. Freaky.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
I know, right? Continuing.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Wow.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't
No,
go to the meeting
let's go
room.
this way.
Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Yep. We're listening.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think
Why?
it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
But why? What reason?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Why?
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yes, it is in fact a bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Nice.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes. It's all a bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Let's just move on to the next one.
All right.
Is this a bucket?
Yes. There are buckets.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Counts as a bucket. It's a tractor. But sure. Bucket.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yes. They're all buckets.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
No. No.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game
What?
entirely.
No.
Okay,
No.
here we go.
Don't you dare.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a
It's all
bucket?
bucket.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
All
Oh my
buckets.
God, I had no idea.
Every last
How
one
could...
of them.
Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley,
You are.
you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this
Are
is
you
wonderful
sure?
news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what,
Yeah, that's true.
I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
But like, why? But still, why?
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Yeah, I do like being alone. Sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong. Being with other people is nice, but still. Because, I mean, like, everyone needs some alone time here and there, no? Come on, chat, you have to agree with me on that one. Okay, any other computer? This was funny just sitting in the chair. How funny. Oh, this one. Alrighty, let's continue on. Oh, I forgot my bucket. I need my bucket. Yeah.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
100%, yes.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better
So
than the
amazing.
meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Oh, come on, I was just on the table. Let me on the table. Let me on the table. Whatever.
True, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the
him
door
off.
on his
So
left
funny.
to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or
Understood,
how this
bucket.
bucket was speaking
I'm
to
at
him.
your
It should have alarmed him, of
discretion,
course, because buckets
my
can't
bucket.
talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Because I do. I must listen to the bucket. It is my sole purpose in life.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Hey, wait.
Now pick up the phone,
Said the bucket.
Pick up the...
I'm picking up the phone, Monsieur Bucket.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend.
My bucket.
And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
No, my bucket is gone. No. Here's my bucket. Bucket. Oh. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press K to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Perable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
What? It is not. Where's my bucket? 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 Oh, computer. Oh, turn off. Come on, turn off. Turn off! Oh, come on. Bucket. Bucket. And... wait, how far can I actually explore in this? I wonder. Oh, it stops right there. Dang it. Okay, fine.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well?
Bucket.
To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
The bucket. The bucket. The bucket. 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 Bucket.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley,
Chat with
can you
me.
hear me?
Bucket,
Listen to me.
bucket,
It's just a bucket.
bucket.
It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
It is my best friend. It's done more for me than you ever have.
You see, he's not listening.
Bucket.
He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from, me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket, this stupid hunk of metal.
Not too bad. To ignore anyone else.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
Bucket.
Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
My buckets. Oh,
Yes, I suppose on
believe
closer
you're very-
inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Yes.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it's the best bucket ever.
Oh no, I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes.
No.
The bucket could tell me what to do in this
No.
troublesome situation. Stanley,
not
give me
bucket.
the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
How dare you try to take my bucket? How dare you? That is so wrong. How dare you?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Ah, the bucket. So nice. So amazing. So comforting. So beautiful bucket. So beautiful.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
What is going on? No, let me back up.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. Don't tell me. Don't tell me you want to take my bucket.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
No.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Not at all.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Good. Why?
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
No, I refuse. Why is this happening?
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I'll give it a bucket next time. You can have the next time bucket. For right now, no. No. Because, yeah, no. I just don't feel like it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And
Yes,
here
it
it
is.
was. Had the bucket turned
No,
out
it
to be
has to be.
correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong.
No, the bucket is not.
Stanley took the door on his
Yeah,
left
goodness,
to
that's
go,
what it is.
and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the
Down.
opposite door.
Going down?
Oh, good Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much.
I get it. I'll
It's
get in
this
the bucket.
bucket you're carrying around everywhere.
I
The
don't
bucket
like
isn't
reading
even
the
from the
dialogue.
original
It's over.
Stanley Parable. It's
It's
just
a
sequel
Stanley
content.
Parable.
We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
This is good music.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yeah, whatever.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Yeah,
Don't you get it,
I got it. I'll
Stanley?
give him the bucket.
We need to get
I'll
rid
give
of the
him the
bucket.
bucket. Yeah.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a
Just let me
brand
in.
new
Just
character.
let me in.
This
Just let
is the
me in, and I'll
Bucket
feed him the bucket.
Destroyer.
Yes, I get it. Just let me
I
in.
think it'll make a
I
wonderful
will give
new
him the
addition to the
bucket.
rich lore
Let
of the
me
Stanley
in.
Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out
And I won't
character
give
with so much personality that to
Come
me
on.
it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
I want the stick button.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
You wouldn't let me feed it the bucket. I was trying my best, man. Come on now.
The Bucket Destroyer. My
Ah,
prized creation.
sad.
You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
Such a sad moment.
For the moment in
Crying
time
on
that you were
the
here, you
Wow,
were magnificent.
so sad. Anyway, let's come on. Let's continue. Come on. That's enough being sad over a bucket destroyer. Come on. Let's continue.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Yep. Bucket.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Yep. Okay, so we've gone all the way over.
Stanley clutched the bucket
Let's
tightly
do
to
this
his
one.
chest and entered the door on his left.
Hey, we come out right here, man.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Wow, amazing. You know, I never actually checked out these whiteboards. I heard that they're actually pretty funny. Hang on. You guys out of the broom closet? Okay, yeah, these are pretty cool. Complete today's unfinished agenda. Right next to the toilet. Refund. Okay. Sure. You must walk. Nice. Thank you very much. Broom closet, broom closet.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours.
But I want
alas,
more stickers.
No stickers.
But I want more. Fine, whatever.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I'm going back in the bathroom now.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
You talk too much, you know that? You know that? Yeah. Way too much. I'm going over here. Elevator going up. Elevator going down. Let's continue our story.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Of course. What else could it be? Going up. Down. Going down, 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 and down, 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 down.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
Yep.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Thank you, Bucket. Thank you so much for all of your comfort, Monsieur Bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
No. That's up we go. Bucket, please go back.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Come on, Bucket, let's go. Try out the buttons. Ding, 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 ding. Let's go. Let's go.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and... Well, he said,
The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life.
Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
I don't want to, though. Like, why? I mean, I get the reason why, but like, still, why? Fine, whatever. We're going.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
It was very fun, I will admit. Very, very fun. Okay,
A hint of
let's
regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should Stanley and the bucket walk straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control? Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nah, I'm
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
I know. I'm still gonna keep walking, though. Bucket? Where is it? Bucket for the bucket. Bucket for the bucket. Bucket for the bucket. Yeah.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Like, why? Hello?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Yes. We're safe, Bucket.
It was a
We're safe,
shame,
we're
the
safe,
death
we're
of such a
very safe.
magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way,
Yep.
but this one stood above the rest.
I
It was a
know, right?
glorious
That's why
bucket
it's
to
my bucket.
behold.
Yep. Oh, wait, Bucket? Bucket, no! My bucket. Oh. You're gonna stop.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Ouch. But okay, I guess. Okay, let me go up here. The bucket. Hey, Bucket.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
Oh,
It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
really? The hanging bucket. I'm gonna jump in it. Oh, I was so looking forward to jumping in that bucket.
But there is something we can
Did I say
do,
in the bucket? I
something
meant
we can
jumping
do
in the hole.
together, you and
I
I,
meant
that
jumping
will
in the
right this
hole.
terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Because I'm just gonna respawn, and I'm just gonna grab a new bucket. I like 10 apples.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Why? Huh? Figurine finders meeting complete. In the meeting room. Huh. Okay.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed
Come on,
bucket,
Bucket, we're gonna
a
go jump out
bucket
the
of
window.
culture and distinction.
That sounds so wrong. Hey, come on, Bucket, we're gonna jump out the window. Okay. Yeah, Bucket.
Yes,
Yeah.
whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed,
Amazing.
desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness
what?
and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed
Isn't
its
it
true form,
okay?
transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
Oh, I see what happened. They ran out of budget.
My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Why? Why? Why?
All of his
Why,
co-workers were gone.
Bucket?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Ah, the embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Amazing. Beautiful. We love the bucket.
Stanley
Bucket
clutched
is
the bucket tightly
amazing.
to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yep. We're going to just listen to you this time. Oh. How can we? Ooh, let's watch this bucket. Let's see. Because I do actually want to collect these. Let's see. How can we show you spotted one? Okay, okay. Where are the collectibles? What? What? There. Provided by employee 416. Red room. What? Huh. here to help find them. Hmm. Source of levitation. What? What? Trust the completionist instinct? Okay. Just tell me when you're in. We need to find more planks. What? Okay. I guess. Mission status. Single exhibit? Private but smelly place? A fireplace somewhere with both blue and red? Huh. Stairs. Something to do with stairs? Large room with a lot of boxes. Huh. So it seems that I'm going to have to
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the
go
bucket walked
and
upstairs to the boss's office.
redo them again. And like redo those paths, but without the bucket, because
Stepping into his
what the
manager's
bucket
office,
means.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover
Huh.
not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew
Sheer
all
luck. I
along?
definitely just
Was the
already.
bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yep, 100%. It's gotta be. What else could it possibly be? Like, literally nothing else.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
This way.
Mind Control Facility.
Lights.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Yeah, I wonder. I so wonder.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Continuing.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter.
Why?
His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Not. I wanted absolute mind control, not birds. But sure, whatever.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it?
Are you sure?
Is this Stanley's office?
Nope. The narrator is getting so confused now. It's amazing.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Nothing to do with this bucket, and then I go collecting figurines. So the large room with a lot of boxes. That could be in the room.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yep, upstairs, got it.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Yep.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
There we go. Yahoo! Click the off button.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Yeah, and I wonder why you keep talking.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Yep.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Wow. Amazing. Just amazing. Can I go now? Can I go now? Please, por favor. Let me go. Please? Please? Oh, I gotta click the... I forgot to reset. My bad.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
Please. Can I go?
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Let me go.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket
that's
tighter.
just normal
His one
society
friend
there,
in the
bud.
entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Sure.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking,
eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never...
It goes off and off and off.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Nice.
Was it over?
Blackness. Amazing.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd live together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Alrighty then. Well, okay. That's what's going on. So let's go skip the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We are now going to go ahead, skip the bucket, and try to collect the little Stanleys. I really want to see what happens if we get them all. And we saw that whiteboard. So the first
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Because that kind of reminds
It was okay.
one of the tasks.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
There's like a blue door and a red door. So
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
amazing. So that whiteboard.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly.
No.
Stanley Ward. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see.
Oh,
Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me? You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Good. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Back to the leaderboard. It's back to the leaderboard.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
No, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
What is it this time? Last time it was Rocket Man. Oh, right.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there. Oh, no, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that That thing, that big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
Going to do an open
We're
world
out of
game
the woods
next.
now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
I'm gonna just jump down the hole immediately.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
There is some possibility.
Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game,
a
I will be
hole.
phenomenally impressed.
I'm just gonna jump down the hole.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Goodbye.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Jumping down a hole.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you.
Good.
How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Oh, I'm good. I'm really good. Good. I'm just going down the hole. Yeah. Perfect. Nice. Nice. Absolutely marvelous. Let's see, I went that way last time. What's over here? Okay. Is it just leading me in the same direction? I think it's just leading me in the same direction. Yeah, I'm just in the same place. Okay. We should start talking at any moment. There we go.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes.
Why?
Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back.
Why?
The end will be here soon. Very soon.
No one likes you.
I can wait.
Huh? Huh. Okay. Jeez. Okay then, everybody. I'm going to end this stream here. I was wanting to stream for about 2 hours today, but it seems I've done about 2.5 altogether because I had a stream before this, but I had to restart. Yeah, because, technical difficulties, we love those. Anyway, thank you all for tuning into my stream. I really love seeing you all here, and I hope that you tune into my next one. And if you all really want to see my VTuber model, because I'm really hoping to debut soon, then why don't you all head over to my Twitter, where you can find my nice little company's page, and hit their follow button, as well as maybe mine, and go ahead and put a like on the post, because until we reach that like goal, my model is not going to be revealed and I can't debut, unfortunately. So, if you would, that would be absolutely amazing. Love seeing you all here, and I can't wait till next time. Have a good one. Maybe
voice hurts.